Hey guys, it's Jodi Soper, and I wanted to do a training. I kind of mentioned this recently on Monate, on one of my market partner resources page, about doing some training about the why and why is that important, and understanding that very first, source of fuel for anyone in network marketing, and especially in with Monate. I've had some recent conversations with people that have said, hey, I've got a team, I've got some people that are going, and I'm not sure what to do next with them, or how do I motivate them, or how do I keep them going. And I wanted to separate two things that really happen in our business. And I'm like, hey, Jody Moss. And signing up on paper or signing up on someone's website isn't the same thing. Oh, hey, Ann Fisher, isn't the same thing as signing up with your heart, signing up with your mind. Oh, and thanks for the heart, you guys. That makes me feel good. And signing up with your soul, with this conviction. And how do you get someone to that phase? And when anybody comes into network marketing or in our company in Monate, we all start the same. Someone exposes us to the product or the opportunity, and what do? We get excited and we join. So we all start from the same place. We did an action, right? We created just something, then we went and did something. And I found that what happens in that place, and what's really important to think about, is that those new market partners or anyone new in this industry, they operate in those first sometimes weeks, sometimes 90 days. It's all based on operating their business from emotion. And when you operate from emotion, you're going to do things that feel good, and when they don't feel good, you're going to stop doing those. So the important piece and what I want to try to convey is you can't stay. None of us can stay in a constant state of excitement, right? It's an intense feeling. So how do you move them from excited to committed? And that's really the goal in the beginning with anyone. So knowing that, and how many of you probably have had this in your team where you've got somebody that comes in and then in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, they're gone, right? So as soon as that emotion of something feeling good and comfortable becomes uncomfortable, or maybe has to operate from their fear zone, disappear, right? Because when the emotion wasn't good anymore, they were gone. And in that process of how to get them to a committed stage. So, right, commitment is kind of a source of purpose, operating from a source of purpose, which is, when we help them get into their why, to also being able to give up something, right? So it's something that you'll give up to get what you want. And how do you move them into there? Because there's ultimately, and I love how Dr. Tom Barrett says, there's really three sources of fuel, right? Enthusiasm will only get you so far. And then you've got to become committed to something, right? And this is like a new relationship. This is going to school. This is a new job, right? It's completely human nature. But ultimately, at the end, you want to get to a source of conviction where it's just such a solid, unshakable belief. And how do you move those into that? And I'll talk more in some incoming trainings of really things that you can do to kind of move someone through that. But in those beginning stages, the first thing that you want to do is you want to really learn how to, one, manage their expectations, so then you can find some small victories within those, and then build up belief, knowing that that will lead them to their why. Quite often, people join this business and their why is completely subconscious to them. They might find a small why, but it's not usually what they might share with you. And honestly, when I have someone new, I don't go into my first meeting with them and asking them what their why is, because I haven't earned that trust and respect yet. So I never want somebody just to give me a fluffy why. So I will lead you with this, with a couple things, and we'll do more training on all of these, like how do you have these conversations, how do you increase belief, where do you find small victories? Not always with someone do you lead with the business. Maybe you might need to lead with the product in the beginning, because that small victory will keep them going. And in the beginning, we always know about the 5%er rule, right? 5% of people are just going to come into this business, and if there isn't a system, they're going to go create it. They're going to run with it. Another 15% of the people that come in this business are going to go, oh, there's a system, and I'm going to go do it. And they'll do it at some level. And the other 80% will either do a little bit or ultimately do very little. But how do you move those people, maybe moving forward, if they had some more positive, small victories in the very beginning? So, knowing that taking maybe a new market partner or someone new in this industry, step by step and little by little will keep them. So even having someone get a customer in their very first week is going to keep them more motivated than if they didn't get anything. So looking at that, and when I first said, the first thing I mentioned was, how do you manage their expectations? And one of the things that I ask, and I tell people once they join, one of the things I do say in the very beginning is, when we sit down and chat at your 24-hour training, I want you to think about what will make this worth it when we sit down a year from now. And it could be small. So don't worry about thinking too big right now, because some people will. Someone might say, I can't stand taking my kids to daycare, so whatever it takes for me to be home with my kids. They're going to tell you that up front. But other people need to think about this. And we've learned, and especially in Monat and talking with the other founders, when they came in and our directors, they all told that their whys weren't big enough. So it's okay if someone comes in with a small, it might be worth it for me a year from now. At least you have a starting point to be able to go, okay, so when we sit down a year from now and it was worth it for you to make some new friends and have your own secret spending money, that you didn't have to feel guilty about, that would make you feel good. And they go, yeah. So let them learn that they can see bigger on their own. But to come back to this here and recap just real quickly is, I want you to realize that everyone who joins your team comes in and are operating from a state of emotion. And so you're going to be sitting there constantly trying to get them to feel good about everything else. So if you can get them immediately to feel good about one small thing, and that could be just reaching out and doing something small and finding out what that might be for a year from now and their vision. So we'll move on to how to get someone committed here into the next call. But I wanted just to answer the question of why the why is important, because without being able to create a why, to be able to move to commitment, you will always just have people that come into your business that stay operating from a place of emotion. So we'll learn more on how to talk about how to move into that commitment and tools that will help you, but we'll do it step by step. I want to keep these really short, but a lot of times we hear all the time, the why is important. Well, yes, it is why. The why is important, but why is that important? And it's understanding that without it, you're only building on emotion, and as soon as something doesn't feel good, then they stop, and that's okay. So we'll move on to more training, but I just wanted to give a quick shout out to thank you for all of my Monat sisters and family that came on and said hi. So I appreciate that, and I can't wait to do some more training with you guys. I really wanted to make a commitment to start sharing my background and things that I've learned and help you explain kind of why we do the things we do in direct selling. So you guys have an awesome day. Thanks so much.